Hey, good afternoon, everybody. What's going on? This is Average Discussion. Thank you for joining me today here in Studio Silverado. I am home again, but again, this is the best place for me to record at the moment. So, thank you for joining me. Today is Wednesday, April 10th, 2024. It's about 58 degrees here just outside the Salt Lake City area, and for historical reasons, so that we know what to exploit the human race out of in 10,000 years when the dystopian future happens, and this is the only source of information they have from the past. You could charge people about $3.80 a gallon, higher, lower in certain spots, but that's what you could charge them for a gallon of gasoline to exploit them into slavery. Okay, so first thing I want to say is I'm changing my tune on the TikTok ban. Okay, I've been pretty adamant about the fact that I don't support it because, arguably, I feel like the companies in this country are worse than those. But thanks to all of the doomsday prophesizers with the eclipse, I'm changing my tune. Okay, so my job is still standing. I was shown maps that said I was going to have oceanfront property here in the Utah area. That didn't happen. And no magical powers, no spiritual epiphanies. Yeah, it seemed to be just another regular day. Now they have recanted and they're of course changing a lot of their thought processes. And I'm not going to say that, this isn't something that, maybe triggers something to happen. Maybe that is true. Maybe that's the case. All I'm saying is that they really had me thinking that this was the end of times and that we were all going to be, launched back to the Stone Age, to which I was somewhat excited for. Not going to lie. I'm tired of going to work. I'm tired of paying bills. I'm tired of, it's not that cold. We'll survive. Our ancestors did it. We'll be okay. And you know what? It just didn't happen. So I'm changing my tune. Perhaps TikTok really is as dangerous as they make it out to be. Okay, a lot of information that you just cannot trust. So, yeah, changing my tune. But with that, being as I made the comment about going back to the Stone Age, right? Well, so it turns out that wooden turbine towers could make wind power even greener. That's right. It says that wind power is vital to help decarbonize the energy industry. However, while the electricity it generates has a small carbon footprint, the towers of conventional wind turbines are predominantly made using carbon-intense materials like steel. Swedish company Modvion believes it has found a greener alternative, building turbine towers from wood. Almost 2 tons of carbon dioxide are emitted for every ton of steel manufactured, and a modern onshore wind turbine contains around 120 metric tons of steel per megawatt of capacity, according to industry group Wind Europe. Now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I mean, it really seems like we're trying to, because I saw this thing with ships using sails again. Obviously, more modernized sails, not just your sheets that you put on 2 sticks and hope for the best, right? But they're modernized and they're looking at using those to transport ships across the ocean again and how it's supposed to be more beneficial. So all I'm seeing is all this stuff that looks like it's taking us back to a time when we probably had it right to begin with, but then we were like, nah, let's make some money and let's create this great stuff. And I'm not going to say that, the use of steel has not benefited humankind greatly. I think that it absolutely has, but it just looks to me like all of this stuff is going back to a time when we probably arguably had it right. I've made an argument, probably in conversation, maybe I've said it on a podcast, I really don't remember, but I've made the argument that, primarily with my viewpoints on spirituality and religion, where I've said, like, I feel like every culture at some point in time kind of had it right, and then we just drifted away from that, and that's how I feel about a lot of things going on right now. We're trying to get back to this, quote, greener way of living, end quote, and it seems like we're just going back to the things that we already had. So I don't know, just my thoughts on it. I'd be curious to know what you guys think about it, but outside of that, I mean, going back too far is probably a bad thing too. I'm not going to say that we need to just abandon all hope and move backwards, but perhaps we should be a little more cognizant of the things that could potentially be better for us in the long term and stop worrying about the immediate. So it looks like there were some people shot outside of a Ramadan celebration in Philadelphia. If you've checked the news, you've probably seen this. I know I try to stay away from the headline news because I feel like you guys get that enough, but I had to bring this up because if there's one thing that speaks to it, we'll go through what they said first. Several people were shot outside an event celebrating the end of Ramadan in West Philadelphia. Born and raised, police say. The shots were fired outside of a mosque, observing, I'm not even going to try to say that word, the day that marks the end of Muslim Holy Month. At least 2 people were victims in the shooting, according to the Associated Press. 4 people have been arrested and multiple guns have been recovered. Local ABC station, blah, 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 reported. CBS News, the BBC's and U.S. partner report that the shots were fired after an argument broke out at the gathering. At least 1 victim was taken to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, so I guess that implies that it was a child, and that sucks. I didn't screenshot it for direct quote, but I'm gonna paraphrase. The rest of the article, which was found on BBC, it went on to say that this is not being classified as a mass shooting. It was just 2 separate groups of people shooting back and forth at each other. So, way not to lump them into all the bad people in the world, right? I don't know, kind of crazy. I don't know. Something about that just, nothing screams, religious concern to me more than that. It's like there's been a lot of arguments, and I don't have anything against the Islamic faith, if I'm being honest. I probably did at some point in time because I was brainwashed into I drank the Kool-Aid and I thought they were the worst people on the planet. But then I realized they're just like Christians. There's good ones, there's bad ones. And that's how I look at it now, So I don't know. My mindset has kind of changed a lot on that as I've grown over the years. But one thing I will say is that they do seem to be more prone to violent outrage or violent action based off of principles that are part of their religious ideology. Now, I'm not going to say that that's everybody. I'm not going to try to imply that either, because I know that it's not. Okay, but it does seem to be something that gets referenced quite heavily, and nothing speaks to that more than a shooting outside at the end of their celebration. But maybe that's a downside to fasting. They're probably just hungry, man, and I know they can eat at night, so it's probably not too bad for them. But I'm sure it sucks. I'm sure it sucks a little bit. So there's that. Looks like accelerated aging is linked to cancer risk in younger adults, research is showing. Researchers looking for clues about why some types of cancer are on the rise in younger adults say they've found an interesting lead, a connection to accelerated biological aging. Aging is a major risk factor for many types of cancer, meaning the older you get, the more likely you are to be diagnosed. And increasingly, experts recognize that age is more than just a number of candles on a birthday cake. It's also the wear and tear on the body caused by lifestyle, stress, and genetics, which is sometimes referred to as a person's biological age. Now, I said stress twice because I want you to remember that, because this next part goes on to say, and this is a quote from Dr. Yin Kao, Y-I-N space C-A-O. Not really sure how to say that, so apologize for butchering that. Who is a doctor, an associate professor of surgery at the Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis, okay? This doctor goes on to say, we all know cancer is an aging disease. However, it is really coming to a younger population. So whether we can use the well-developed concept of biological aging to apply that to the younger generation is really an untouched area. Now, the reason I said stress, okay, because I've emphasized that, right? I think you can make a lot of arguments that the generations before were probably tougher on a physical level, okay? They had to deal with more things physically than we probably do today. We have advances in machinery, mechanics, right? Things that have made our life a hell of a lot easier. So it is not far-fetched to assume that the older generation had more physical problems in their day-to-day life. But I would make a huge argument that they did not have more stress. Period. I think the stress that we encounter today and that our kids are probably going to encounter in the future are so much more dramatic that I believe the other generations can't touch that. Now, they had their own stressors. I'm not trying to say that they had a stress-free life. What I'm saying is I don't think the amount of stress from the day-to-day life was even comparable to what people are dealing with today, right? And, I'd love to have that conversation with somebody, you know what I mean? Because maybe perhaps I'm wrong, but my viewpoint on that, based off of the things that I've experienced personally, the things that I see, the things that I remember from my childhood, which is not very much, to be fair, okay? But, that's what kind of leads me to that. And so stress being an indicator of this accelerated biological aging, it's said that it's not just the candles on the cake each year, right? It's the wear and tear on the body caused by lifestyle, stress, and genetics. I'm telling you right now, I feel much older than I am because of the wear and tear on my body. And I know what that's from. And it was, it was the lifestyle that I was living, right? I was, yes, I exercised, I worked out, but the job that I did, it took a beating on your body, all the gear, the explosions, the you know what I'm saying? So all those things took a beating on me. And then you factor in stress, right? And then the one thing that we can't control, genetics. Stress is a huge factor in a lot of things, right? Like they tell you, if you have concerns about your heart, that you need to eliminate stress, right? So perhaps this is just my theory, and I don't know how much they're going to be able to quantify on that in whatever study that they're doing, but this is just my theory. The stress of today's generation, of 20 to 40-year-olds, the stress that those people are enduring right now, holy cow. I bet you it's unlike hardly anything that we've seen in history, right? And it's strange because our lives are arguably better, right? But the stressors that come with maintaining that, I think, is what I'm referring to. So interesting to note. I didn't even know that we were having accelerated aging. So there's that. It looks like Florida police officers complete grocery delivery after arresting delivery driver. Yeah. So they probably just didn't want any backlash for taking their, they probably didn't want to get sued for having it in evidence. You know what I mean? No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure they were just trying to be decent people. The guy's going to jail anyways, just deliver the food. Kudos to them. I didn't really care what the guy got arrested for, but he was wanted on some felony counts or something like that. So they arrested the guy, and then they delivered the groceries that he was going to deliver for somebody. So, just beware. You know what I mean? Those people getting your groceries at the store. I don't want to cause any fear and panic, okay? That's not me. That's TikTok, right? TikTok with their doomsday eclipse stuff. Those people at the grocery store, though, they might just be on the run from the cops. I don't know. Yeah, that TikTok thing really bothered me. No, I'm just kidding. It didn't bother me, but it did make it, it did kind of like raise some eyebrows with me, right? Like, I don't know if you guys saw the videos. I saw a bunch of them on TikTok. I know everybody's not on TikTok. Some people are scared that they're going to make a profile about you and they're going to sell that to the highest bidder, and you're going to become a clone, an AI robot clone, and they're going to set you up for assassinating somebody. I don't know. But I have it, and I don't spend a lot of time on there, but I was kind of curious because I'd seen some things rolling around the other socials, and I was like, let me go check this out, right? And I'm going to go check it out, and lo and behold, it was literally everywhere. Everybody's telling me how, everything's not aligned, and maybe they're right. I don't know. But the point being is that they said a lot of things were going to happen. There was a lot of people saying a lot of things were going to happen, and nothing happened. And then today, because I was curious again, I get back on there and I'm checking around, and of course, it's just kind of shifted a little bit. So I don't know, man. Like, maybe we should be saying we need to ban it for reasons like that, right? Because they tell you the national security thing, and that card's been played so many times that I don't even know if it's worth even mentioning. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think people are just turned off by it, and at that point, it's defiance, right? Like, stop telling me what I can do. type thing, right? Which is a fair thing, right? We can't sit here and preach about freedoms and all this good stuff and then turn around and just allow everything to be taken from us, right? Now, to be fair, I would say that we need to put that same energy into a lot of other things that we're letting get taken from us. But point being is that that's the American way, is it not? I mean, is it not the American way to be defiant? When the government says do this, you say fuck you, right? That's literally the American way, is it not? So does that perception change because we're talking about national security versus, I don't know, what's something else? Immigration, right? Those are the same things. Chris, you're an idiot. But is it not the same thing when we're talking about banning TikTok for national security or closing the border for national security? Isn't it the same thing? Right? So we should be saying no, fuck you. I don't know. I guess that's a weird thought process of mine. This is where my head's at, guys. I'm just rambling off and I'm probably confusing and contradicting myself. And guess what? I don't even care. I don't care. I don't care because you know what? Everybody is fear mongering the shit out of everything. Everybody, man. Country's gonna go to shit because of this, or the dollar isn't worth the piss. There goes our future. Da, da, da. And maybe people are right. I'm not gonna sit here and say that they're wrong. All I'm saying is everybody is dooming and glooming and fear mongering everything, and it's getting really, really old. It's getting really old. I don't know. I hope I'm not dooming and glooming. I try not to. If I am, please let me know because I need to correct that because that's not what I'm here to do. I want to send a positive message out there. You know what I mean? Like, go be a good person in your community to the best of your abilities, even if that's just, I don't know, helping your neighbors out periodically. You see them out. Winter's about over, but you see them out. Winter is over, I should say. But you see them out shoveling their driveway. You know what I mean? Go give them a hand. Why not? Who cares, right? Like, that's the type of stuff that we need to be doing, Go volunteer to help out, you with the youth or something. Go to your homeless shelters. Do something. Because if there's one thing that I've experienced is that there's a ton of people who sit there and they preach the life of one Jesus Christ, and then look the other way when it comes to helping people or when it comes to being a decent person or just doing anything. They look the other way, right? We've gotten so enclosed in our own homes. I don't know. I spend a lot of time outside. And when I tell you I hardly see anybody come out of their freaking houses, it's strange to me. Now, don't get me wrong. I know it's been cold, right? But so I understand if it's not in abundance, but just the rarity of seeing people actually come out of their homes for anything other than, just to go to work is strange. It's strange. It's fucking depressing. If I'm being real with you, it's depressing. It's depressing. Like, everybody that I associate with in my free time doesn't even live in my neighborhood for the most part. How crazy is that? I got to drive to another neighborhood. They got to drive from theirs to mine. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong. Like, I understand that you build relationships with people that you meet throughout your life. I totally understand that. And I get that you're not going to be friends with every single neighbor. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of people on this street that probably don't care for me, Not that they really have a reason to, but maybe it's because, I don't know, my kids are always out in the street playing basketball. Maybe that drives them crazy, right? I'm probably not going to be friends with those people, right? But, the people next to us, they're a little bit younger. The people on the other side of us, they're a little bit older, and they're always traveling anyways. The people across the street, I don't even know if they're all still alive. It's just crazy. It's just crazy, like the lack of interaction, or the fact that it's segregated to specific times of the year, right? Because obviously, like July 4th, I guarantee I'm gonna go outside. Everybody's gonna be outside. You know what I mean? But they're still. I don't know. It's so weird to me. It's so weird to me. And then, how many times a day do we walk by situations that we could have a positive influence on? I think that's what I try to be better about. It's like when you see somebody's car stalled, you'll see like 42 cars on the road, And there's usually only like one guy who gets out and helps. And I guarantee you the thought that went through a lot of people's head was that they wanted to go help, but they didn't want to go help at the same time. So they were just thankful that this person got out of their car and started pushing. Right? So they're like, whew, thanks. They may not say that out loud, but I guarantee you they've thought that, because arguably I've probably thought that. You know, I've stopped to help car accidents on the side of the highway, right? That have happened in front of me on the way to work sometimes. And one time I was meeting up with my wife, so we could go to our son's basketball game, and I lost track of time. I was running behind, and she was there a lot faster than I thought she was going to be, and sure as shit, man, I'm at this intersection. I'm like 3 minutes away, and this car just turns and bam, smacks into this other car. And I will admit, in that moment, I was like, please be okay. Right? Please be okay, because I'm on a time frame, a selfish time frame, right? And so I see him get out, everybody's okay. They get out of the car, they're arguing and yelling back and forth, because it was a stupid bonehead accident. It wasn't, I don't know. But I will admit, in that moment, I was like, thank God everybody's okay, so I can just drive around and keep going, because I don't have time to sit here and help you guys, right? But I know for a fact that had I not seen movement, I would have been out of my truck. I know that for a fact. So it's just weird. It's just weird. Like, the amount of times that we just willingly and intentionally avoid being a positive influence, I think it's strange. So I try not to be a doom and gloomer. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you the world's going to end. I'm sure the world is going to end at some point. How could it not? Right? And you can look at all these prophecies and things like that, and ancient stories where they tell you, like, this is the, there was a one floating around for a while about, I think it was the Hopi Indian tribe. I could be wrong about the tribe, but, a Native American tribe that, had said something along the lines of, like, this is the seventh world or something like that, eighth world. I can't remember the number either, but I know that was a big thing floating around for a while, right? And then that kind of died off, and now it seems like we're back to the Book of Revelations end times, so I'm sure it'll be something else, but maybe they're right. That's the biggest thing I'll say, is I'm not going to sit here and say that they're wrong. All I'm saying is I'm not seeing anything of it, and I'm changing my tune on TikTok, because damn it, every pallet in our warehouse is still on the ground. It should be floating. We should be flooded. Should be shaking. I don't know. That's where I'm at with it. Yeah, so I hope I don't doom and gloom. I do try to be positive, which is weird, because I don't know that I'm a very positive person. I just try to be better, man. I just try to be better every single day. I fail probably every single day, but I keep trying. And that's the message that I want to send out to everybody. You're not going to get everything right 100% of the time. In fact, you're probably in a good situation if you get everything right 40% of the time. Like, let's be real. Life is life. Life is crazy. Just when you think you're making headway in something, all of a sudden you start getting vibes that maybe you're not, and you got to reevaluate. And I don't know. You can easily end up stuck in a bad spot mentally. So, my message is just keep trying. Just keep trying. And if option A doesn't work, then go to option B. Try option B. And if option B doesn't work, go to C. And then if you get all the way through all 26 characters, then go to AA, then go to BB, then go to, AB, AC, AD, AE, right? Like, who cares how many times you got to make a different plan? Just keep trying. If that's what you want. If that's what you want, keep trying. If it's not what you want, then accept that to yourself and move on, right? To something else, right? But whatever that is, whatever your thing is, try. Just keep trying. Whether that be goal-oriented in the sense of, like, a specific job you're trying to do or something, or whether that be just in your day-to-day life with the people around you, right? If you're trying to be a better person, then try doing better things. And when that doesn't work out, just keep trying, and before you know it, it just becomes natural. And I feel like, for myself, that there's a lot of situations where I don't even have to think about it anymore. I don't have to think about, hey, don't just say these things, or don't just do that, right? If anything, I would say there's probably more of the situations I encounter is when I catch myself slipping, right? Where I start getting in with the gossip, for instance, right? Like that's a tough one. That's a tough one. We live in a very gossipy world, and it's hard. It's hard to stay away from that. It truly is, right? And you know, it's all fun and games sometimes, but it can be too much, right? It can be too much, and it's probably not good for us, you know. And you know, the religious folks would tell us, yeah, that's what the book says, and this and that, right? But I think, you know, just in general, that's an observation that I think we can all make. And so I don't know, just keep trying. That's the biggest thing I can say is just keep trying. A little bit of an update. I missed Monday. I missed Tuesday. I just barely realized it was Wednesday, guys, when I started this. Okay. I don't know. I'm just Monday. I can't remember what was going on Monday. There was a reason I didn't do it. I didn't do it on Monday. There's a reason I didn't do it on Monday, but I can't remember what that was, and I didn't do it. I didn't do a podcast, guys. I'm sorry. I know that I said that Wednesday. Yesterday I was playing basketball with my daughter. Sorry. Took that chance. You know, because I realized, like, my kids are getting older, man. My oldest just started a new job. And it kind of dawned on me that I'm probably not going to have many opportunities to get out and do things with all three of my kids anymore. You know, because we're going to have to balance it around schedules and stuff like that. And I don't know, I just had that realization, man. And so yesterday my daughter wanted to play basketball, so that's what I did. That's what I did instead of recording a podcast. So I hope you guys can understand that. Hope you're not upset. And even if you are upset, honestly, actually, if you are upset, you can go somewhere else. Like, you know, if you guys want to pay me, then maybe I'll make sure I'm here. But, you know, this is out of my own time for my own enjoyment. You know, so if my daughter wants to play basketball, I'm playing basketball with my daughter. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, that's just how I am. But I know I did say that Wednesdays I was going to do the live Podbean thing. Obviously, I'm not prepared for that. So yeah, I'll keep you guys posted on that. Maybe I'll give that a shot for next week. I'll try to get on a better schedule. Yeah, I don't know. I'll try to get on a better schedule for it and at least get that accomplished for next week, hopefully. Because I do want to do the live. I'm just not ready for it today, guys. I'm tired. I don't even know that I'm tired. I'm just mentally drained, I think. And I'm just not in a good spot for it. So my apologies for not getting an episode out yesterday or the day before, but here's today's. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you share it. Follow the show on whatever platform it is that you listen to it on. Where can you find it? You can find it on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, YouTube. All of it should be under Average Discussion. You shouldn't have a hard time finding it. And if you do, please reach out to me personally and I'll help you find it and get you the links, okay? I usually post all the links in the stories on Instagram. Maybe not for Amazon and iHeart, but definitely for Spotify, Spreaker, and most of the time YouTube. Okay, YouTube. I still don't, I don't have the equipment to do very good video stuff right now. My laptop's really old, and my cell phone's pretty good, but then the file's too big and it takes forever. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare right now. Yeah, I don't know, but if you want to follow the show, you can follow the show on Average Discussion at Facebook, facebook.com/Average Discussion, Instagram Average Discussion, on X. Please head over to X if you have a Twitter, an X formerly known as Twitter account. Please head over there and give me a follow over there. That's a site that I would like to grow a little bit. So again, on X formerly known as Twitter at AVG Discussion. If you like the show, don't like the show, bitches, gripes, complaints, death threats, all those things, you can email me directly at averagediscussion@gmail.com. That's all one word, averagediscussion@gmail.com. And then you can also comment on the socials. I'll get it and we'll go from there. But hey, I hope you guys enjoy your day. The weather seems to be turning, at least here in the Utah area. So I hope that it's turning wherever you're from. And it's looking like it's a pretty nice day. I might go play some more basketball with my daughter, but I hope you're enjoying it. And as always, guys, please take care of yourselves. Please take care of each other. And until next time, I'm out.